You're listening to the Bahá'í World News Service.
Now live at local house of worship.
Pinilingkod kay Bahá'í.
So in 2012, the House of Justice wrote a message to the Bahá'í world announcing that national houses of worship would be built in the Democratic Republic of Congo and Papua New Guinea. And of course, it was a great surprise to us. And the House of Justice went on to say that the conditions had been demonstrably met.
That was Jalal Mills, a member of the Board of Councillors in Australasia, speaking about the establishment of the Bahá'í House of Worship in Papua New Guinea. Houses of worship hold a unique place in the heart of a community. Open to all, they are a place where prayer and contemplation inspire service to society.
Someone asked me and said, how did Papua New Guinea get a national house of worship? And I said, I don't know the answer to that question, but I had recently come back from Daga and I had this very special experience. It was quite cold and I was asleep in my sleeping bag and I heard people chanting. And it was dark, but there was a fire burning. It was about 4 or 5 in the morning. It was very dark. And this fire was burning and they were chanting "Rely upon God" in English and in their indigenous language, the Daga language. And I took out my phone and I started filming these friends singing in the background and this fire burning. So I sent that video to my friend and I said, I don't know the answer to your question, but I just witnessed this in Daga and maybe that's one answer.
On May 25th of this year, the Bahá'í Temple in Papua New Guinea was inaugurated, opening its doors for the first time to the people of that nation. Just days after the inauguration, the Bahá'í World News Service was joined in studio by 3 participants from the event. We hear from Julie Jokari.
Good morning. Julie is my name.
Emily Kassay.
My name is Emily. So blessed. I'm so blessed to be here.
And Jalal Mills.
All 3 of us have just flown from Papua New Guinea just almost the day after the dedication to be in the Holy Land. It's just a great joy and pleasure to be here and share some of the stories of those momentous days.
From the Bahá'í World News Service, this is In Conversation, a podcast series that explores experiences from Bahá'í efforts to contribute to social progress, from the grassroots to the international level. From the moment of the announcement in 2012 that a Bahá'í House of Worship would be constructed in Papua New Guinea, the people of that country began preparing for the day when it would open its doors to all. And when that time at last came, in May of this year, communities across the country had been planning for some time how they would mark such an auspicious occasion. Julie recounts how in one community, a group of youth were determined to be present at the dedication, and the great effort they made to make this dream a reality.
When the National Assembly announced the day of the dedication, these youth were already thinking what to do. And the comment they would give to the friends would be, I'm going to be there, I'm going to be there. And then you're thinking, how are they going to be there? But they must be saving up.
In order to reach Port Moresby, these youth had to walk for 6 or 7 days.
Now, that's not an easy walk. But these youth with that heart that they wanted to be at the dedication. But they made it. And when they attended the gathering, you couldn't see any sorrow on them, no pains. But they were there with joy and happiness.
This was a similar case for those travelling from many different parts of the country. Some also had to take long boat rides. Despite the difficulties in travelling such distances, they all travelled with joy in their hearts.
Yeah, it's such a beautiful moment of hearing all the stories of travel, but it's the sacrifice they do when they're traveling. And it would take months for them to make that money to travel, and they did that. Yeah, you see the preparation the community had.
In one locality, because not everyone could attend the dedication, the Bahá'í Local Spiritual Assembly consulted with residents to identify 9 individuals to send to the dedication as representatives from their community. When these representatives were preparing to leave for Port Moresby, everyone in the community lined up to see them off.
You just imagine those number of friends lining up, old and young, and even children, all lined up. And what they did with these 9 friends, they hugged them, and then they kissed their eyes, in a state of saying that whatever you see, we see it also in that moment. And the friends attended the inauguration. When they went back, that's what the community did again. They lined up so the friends could come, and they hugged them and they kissed them, seeing what they saw was the inauguration, the program that happened. The community were part of it, but in the eyes of those 9 friends that they have collectively selected to represent the community. So this is a part of consultation we see at the level of families, at the level of community and the local spiritual assembly.
The House of Worship is located in Port Moresby, the capital of Papua New Guinea, but it is a national house of worship, meaning that it is not just for the people of Port Moresby, it is for all the people of Papua New Guinea.
The National Assembly really took its time to think about how the friends in Papua New Guinea could participate in this gathering. And there were so many consultations that took place in all of the regions, how they would prepare for this celebration. This consultation resulted in a select number of friends being able to participate, and they were welcomed in the national capital, and some were able to join and see the live stream, and some were not. You know, some of the friends in the remote places, they didn't have access to a signal where they could participate, but they had their own celebrations. They did their own traditional dancing and feasting.
They had the local spiritual assembly coming together, consulting with the communities and families within the area of how the program would look like. What are the resources they have that could help with them participating in this inauguration? And when I say resources, I'm talking about things like generator, laptop, projectors. When they came together, it was food, celebration, and customary, costumes all put together. They followed the program, but they also had this beautiful moment of celebrating in a way I would like to say, PNG way of celebrating, where you have costume dance and you have food, and that's the way to celebrate.
And we only saw pictures of this some days after the event. Then some friend would come to a town and show us the videos of the dancing. So I truly felt it was a national expression of joy.
On the day of the inauguration, there was a buzz of excitement in the air as people from across the country gathered for this historic occasion.
As they walk up the path to the temple site, the atmosphere, you can see on their faces by looking at the temple itself, the building, the design of it. It's sort of like it unites these friends. So they were so happy. And you can see them during the day, the smile on their face, and they hug each other. So much happiness.
The first day, of course, was quite a formal event. You know, we had dignitaries there of Papua New Guinea society. We had 3 members of parliament there with us, and we had some very dear friends that have supported the Baha'is in various ways over many years, even decades. And one of them who addressed the gathering was the governor of Port Moresby.
At this juncture, I now call upon the governor,
who was quite instrumental in making sure that the permissions and the building permit was granted for the House of Worship to be built.
It's a great honor and privilege for me to be here with you all.
And his address to the friends that had come for the dedication was also very powerful, because I remember him saying that this is a land of 1,000 tribes.
Papua New Guinea is a land of thousands of tribes.
And he said this is a city of 1,000 tribes because everyone is represented in Port Moresby.
We are many, yet we are one. The Baha'is' teaching of oneness resonate with our shared vision of a united Papua New Guinea, where every individual, regardless of background, ethnicity, language, gender, contributes to the betterment of our society.
And he said, but what this city needs most is unity in diversity. And then went on to say that this house of worship is a symbol of that unity and diversity. And he said, this is what this city needs. So that was a very, very powerful statement by the governor, Powers Pakop. But to me, the most moving statement that was made was by the representative of the Universal House of Justice, when she came to the front and everybody stood. And to hear that message that was addressed to that gathering for the first time. And it was almost as if it read the heart of the people and were speaking to everyone in Papua New Guinea. And one of the statements was about the noble people of Papua New Guinea. And all of us felt so moved and proud.
Purity of heart, deep spirituality, and unshakable faith. These attributes are inherent in the noble people of Papua New Guinea. They are the qualities that have characterized the believers in your country ever since the faith reached your shores. They are the foundation upon which the house of worship has been built.
When that message was read to all of us, I don't think there was many dry eyes in that gathering when that statement was read from the Universal House of Justice.
Interestingly, when the representative of the House mentioned that, you could see the dignitaries, especially the friends in the political area who were represented at that time, or civil society groups, as well as the church leaders who were there at present with us. They were taken aback by that very statement of the noble people of Papua New Guinea. They were taken aback. Everyone didn't expect that, but it was such a description of the nature of the Papua New Guinean people.
Let us rejoice, for this is the moment when faith, hope, and shared purpose all converge. May the anthems of praise that are raised within this sacred space send your spirit soaring and call down blessings upon all who assemble inside.
Celebrate during the praise of your Lord. Let with radiance and joy celebrate during the praise of your Lord. The most compassionate, verily by his remembrance.
the spirit that was in that moment. We saw friends who've contributed so much with the growth of the Baha'i faith in Papua New Guinea. And friends from the community we haven't seen for so many years who've come for that gathering. Who could have stood there with dried eyes? No one. When we saw each other, it was just moment of reflecting back to the efforts we've done so far. Remembering those who've served that part and who are not physically with us. And so it was a family reunion, I would say. I'd love to use that word. A family reunion. Because once you eat from someone's house, you're no longer a stranger. You're no longer a friend. You're actually sharing food. And that's family. So it was a family moment. And united effort of families coming together.
While Saturday offered a more formal programme for the official dedication of the House of Worship with around 1,000 people in attendance, Sunday was an open day for everyone to come. However, because there was no RSVP for Sunday, it was unclear how many would arrive. But by 6 a.m, large numbers were already gathering at the temple site.
Next minute you hear truckloads of people moving in again. By 6 o'clock, there were, maybe 1,000 plus people already there. And then they started singing. At 10 a.m., the friends were organized like in an orderly fashion, and you would see lines of friends, like 2 lines. We had a participation of 3,200 plus on the day, on the 26th.
As a special gift to those attended, the Universal House of Justice had arranged a very rare opportunity for all those attending to view the portraits of the Bob and Baha'u'llah.
That was an opportunity in a lifetime to have a mini pilgrimage at that very moment. And for friends to access that opportunity, that moment, no one could stop them. And so we had 3,200 on the second day, whose goal was to view the holy portrait, to be with the manifestations of God. After that, friends came out with tears of joy and expression that even words cannot express what they came out with. So it was something special.
You know, we talk about how the friends have walked to this dedication, and they're always walking. They're always making sacrifices to attend a devotional meeting, or to attend a reflection meeting, to attend a different space for training of children's class teachers or tutors. And really, all of these efforts are born out of love. And I think the dedication ultimately was, and the House of Worship was a demonstration of love for the people. But of course, you know, the journey continues. Now we have to think how the House of Worship it continues to become a part of community life.
We see that the temple is, it's something so special for Papua New Guinea. And we're creating this system, this culture of walking up to the temple every afternoon after work, and also in the morning at dawn. So I wake up all the kids, we go up to the temple. And in our small groups of family, it attracts the other family. And they join us also to go up to the temple. Some of them says it's a unique and spiritual symbol of unity. It's unite all people and religions. They will get guidance and inspiration from the Bahá'í House of Worship. So this become our, our way, our culture, or it is part of our system.
You've been listening to In Conversation, a podcast series from the Bahá'í World News Service. For more podcasts and stories, visit news.baha'i.org.